What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for sticking with us. If you're a long-time subscriber, if you're new here and you like this video, please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Really help out with what we're trying to do here on the channel. Sorry if it's a little bit windy. It is windy out today, but the sun was shining. It's like 45, 50 degrees outside today, so it was a great day to get outside and get some parts put on the Jeep. Today we are going to be installing the Metalcloak Overland rear fenders on the JL, and hopefully that makes things look a lot better. I ordered those in the black powder coat. If you've seen any videos with the Jeep, you know that it's got the aluminum Metalcloak front fenders on it that are in raw aluminum. We'll be taking those off eventually and painting them black as well to match the back. I thought I would like the raw aluminum look, but it just doesn't jive with the Jeep. So we're gonna paint those black as well. But for today, we're just gonna tackle the inner fenders. So hopefully the job goes pretty smooth. I did read the instructions this time, so that should help. If you watched the video where I did the Metalcloak exoskin armor on the side, you'll know that I openly admitted to my mistake of not having the right drill bit. The Overland fenders also call for a 17/32 drill bit. I wasn't able to find one at the local big box store, so I ordered one. I have the right size drill bit. Hopefully we don't have any of the calamities take place today that took place on the exoskin armor. But anyways, let's get to it. Come on. All right, so first of all, let's talk about what's going to be needed tool-wise for this job. Again, most important, I got the right size drill bit, 17/32 drill bit. If you didn't watch the video where I did the Metalcloak exoskin armor, I figured 17/32, not that far from a half, it would be fine. A half is all I had. I didn't have a 17/32, so I went with the half, and for the most part, it was fine. But on the couple of holes that didn't just line up perfect, the rib nuts kind of started moving in there. I didn't get the bolts tightened up all the way. So we got a couple of bolts on the exoskin that aren't exactly in there tight, and that's 100% my bad. So we'll go first with a drill. Need a drill. If you have an impact driver, that's fine. Use that, not to drill the holes, but later on when it comes time to tighten up the hardware. 17/32 drill bit. You're gonna need a clip puller for all the little Christmas tree clips that are on there. When you go to tighten up hardware, you're gonna need a 7/32 Allen bit for your ratchet or impact, or just a hand one, whichever you have will be fine. A ratchet, a 9/16 wrench, and a cinder punch. Let's go along with the hardware. Metalcloak sends you all the hardware that you're gonna need for all this. And then they also send you a rib nut tool. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Wait, here it is. So they're also going to send you this rib nut tool. Looks like this. It will work if that's all you have, but I'm telling you, pro tip, even though I'm no pro, as cheap as this tool is, you need to go and get you a rib nut tool. I bought this one on Amazon. It works like a champ, and it will save you an incredible amount of time and a lot of headache. Pick you one of those up. It's invaluable. So that's the tools. Let's get over here and look at the Jeep and see what the next steps are going to be. Come on. Shameless channel plug. All right, so you got the inner plastic inner fender well here, and then you got the actual fender on the outside that's going to be removed. So you can take a drill and drill out all of these plastic rivets right here that come from the factory. I'm actually doing the Metalcloak aluminum inner fenders as well. So I think what I'm going to do, we're going to try it out, is we're just going to get inside here, remove all of these Christmas tree clips, and see if we can pull this whole thing off, the fender and the inner fender as one unit. So let's see if we can get in there, pull all those out, and see how it works out. All right, so we got all of the Christmas tree clips out. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 2 up top, 6 around the bottom. Most of the heads broke off of these things, if you can see that. But that's okay, we weren't planning on reusing those anyways. So once we get this fender pulled off, we'll get some pliers on those and get them the rest of the way pulled off, or maybe push through. Doesn't really matter. Now in theory, I should be able to just grab this fender and pull it off, and the inner fender will come with it. So let's see how that works out. Just like that, voila. We got the fender and the inner fender pulled off as one unit. Some of these plastic clips that hold the fender on broke, but that's okay, because again, we're not going to be reusing those. I'll get a screwdriver, get those popped out, and we'll get on to the next step. All right, so I just took some quick detailer, cleaned all this area up. You don't want to install new parts over a bunch of old dirt and mud. Yes, it'll probably get dirty back there again, but you want to start with a clean surface anyways. Also keep in mind, so I'll get the directions out here in just a second, but you're gonna have to drill out some of these holes that are already here. These holes obviously are painted, so anytime you make a new hole or enlarge an existing hole, you're gonna want to spray some paint. I don't have blue paint, so I'm just gonna spray a little clear in there to make sure we don't have rust. It starts eating away at us. But let me get the instructions out. We'll talk about what factory holes you have to drill out. So here's the instructions, and it looks like, starting out, we're going to be drilling out these 3 holes, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to be drilling out these 4 holes. So 1, 2, and then down here towards the bottom, 3 and 4 down here. So we'll go ahead and drill those out, and then we'll get back after that. All right, we went ahead and got the first set of holes drilled out. We'll go get a file. This one's got a couple little metal burrs on it, and I don't know if all Jeeps are this way, but for whatever reason, the ones closer to the tub on mine had some like insulation material behind it. That's fine, just drill right into that. And that's the first set of holes that you're going to drill. We're going to go ahead and put riv nuts in those holes, bolt the fender up finger tight, and then mark some more holes that we're going to have to drill out for riv nuts. So let me go and get the riv nuts and the riv nut tool, and then I'll walk you through that process. All right, so now let's get into the process of installing these riv nuts. I did go and get a file and clean up the edges of these holes, just because you want your riv nuts to sit as flat as possible against the body, so it doesn't give you any issues. So we got a little file and finish that up. The riv nut tool here, you just take it, you'll spread the arms open, screw the riv nut all the way down on there. This riv nut tool comes with several different heads to fit several different size riv nuts, so just make sure you find the right head to put in there. It screws effortlessly into the riv nut, so you don't have any cross threading or issues there. Once we get that done, I'm just going to put it in the hole. I actually used the right size drill bit this time, so it's a good tight hole. Once you get it in there, squeeze the handles. And I like to give it a couple turns, just an extra tightening. There we go. Then use the handle on the bottom to unscrew. Now you have your riv nut installed. Good and flat against the body. So now let's take a step back and get the rest of these done. right, we got those first 7 riv nuts installed. Now the directions say to grab the fender, bolt it up hand tight, and mark the other holes that need to be drilled out. So let me go get the fender and let's do that. Second set of hands would be wonderful right about now. We were actually going to do these over at the Mountain Goats when we were there the other day, me and the kiddos, but it got late, it got rainy, kids are getting hungry, so here we are. All right, so now that we got this bolted up, I didn't put this bolt right here in. It's a little bit off, but once I get all the other holes drilled out, I feel like I can just get this kind of pulled back. Sorry, I feel like I can just kind of get that pulled back with some force and get that put in there. But the rest of the instructions, the Metalcloak instructions, say to drill out the remaining holes to 3/8. So the remaining holes aren't going to have riv nuts. They're going to have a washer and a nut on the back side. And it said drill out the remaining holes to 3/8, but it didn't show the remaining holes. So I tediously went over and counted out the hardware, and there's 14 washers, 14 nuts, and 14 extra bolts. So that led me to believe there were 7 holes. And sure enough, it's just as simple as it sounds. Everywhere you see a hole, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Everywhere you see a hole that's still not got something in it, you're going to drill that out to 3/8. No nut cert, just a bolt and a nut on the back side. So I'm going to go get a center punch, mark these holes with the center punch, drill them out, or take the fender off, I guess. Drill them out to 3/8, and then we'll yeah. All right, we got those extra holes drilled out. Everything should be good. We're going to throw a little clear coat on there, and then I'll be back. Probably just put you on a time lapse, get this fender all finished up, and we'll get out of here. Let's go. All right, so we are all done. Back here, you got this little, it's really decorative. I tried to put it in, but I think the powder coating, there was some residue that got in the threads there. I don't have a tap that size, so I may wait and I may try to run this thing on in there. I'm kind of impatient, so you know how it goes. Got all these in the back bolted up. I'm not sure I like how that washer hangs down there from the back side of that, so I may have to try to do something different there. And as usual, you guys know, or you should know by now, nut certs are not my friend. So you can see how they're not all lined up right there, exactly right. They're not far off. Yes, they were lined up when I bolted the fender on the first time. However, it's a really long bolt that goes through the front ball here, goes all the way through and into the body. So when we first bolted this fender up, that one was not 100% lined up. So I may take this bolt out and this bolt out, get these two up here inserted, and then maybe get a ratchet strap or something and just kind of pull this a little bit to line it up. But I learned my lesson from the Exoskin. I didn't try to force a bolt in there and strip it all out, so I'm just gonna wait. And then we'll get it all finished up. Passenger side is just kind of rinse, repeat from this side. So I think we're done for the day. What do you guys think? All right, that's gonna do it. Got that last little bolt in the back ball there. Just a lot of, I didn't have the right tap, so just a lot of back and forth with the bolts itself, being real gentle, and then pulling it out 1,500 times to blow the dust or powder coat residue out of there. You know, we just got those two. That's not a big deal. I will get them straightened out eventually, but if that's all we got to complain about, that's not a bad deal right there for a non-mechanic. All right. All right, everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us while we installed the Metalcloak Overland fenders on the Jeep. 1000% stronger than the plastic ones you just saw me rip off a minute ago. Pretty simple install overall. You know, I'm not a mechanic. These nutserts always give me the damnedest times, but all the other holes that we drilled out, everything lined up perfect. We just got two that's off. So if that's all I got to complain about, I'm not gonna complain. As you already know, when you get to come out and put cool parts like this on your Jeep, it's not a bad life if it's a dad life. Let's go.